Okay, cool.
All right. Okay, so we're gonna tell people 3 things they should obsess over instead of their credit score. We talk about this a lot. So did you want to do the first one? What's the first thing people should
the first one to obsess over instead of what your actual score is your repayment history. Are you making your payments on time? Are you habitually paying your cell phone or internet bills late or cable bills? Are you habitually paying your credit card bills late? If you are, then you need to make those on time, because it doesn't matter if you check your credit score every single month. If you're making your payments late, it's still going to give you the same score.
Yeah. So basically it's like your score is a reflection of your habits, like of your like long-term, well, short-term, long-term, whatever, like the last 6 years is on your credit bureau. So
exactly. And it records your last 36 payments. So your last, what is that, 3 years? Little over 3 years? Yeah, 3 years of payments.
Yeah. So I mean, like that's something people I think underestimate, because they're like, oh, it's just like $10 for my minimum payment, and then they don't like put as much effort into it sometimes. And most of the time, someone that misses their payment, you'll see it more than once. And like it's just over time, it really can affect if it's a yes or no, or like the overall score and application. So
Exactly.
But I feel like
lenders or sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. Like people just, their obsession over the score, it's just their energy isn't put in the right place. And I don't think people realize that. So
cool. And it's like when the lenders are looking at your credit bureau, you know what I mean? And they're looking at your payment history. If they see like, okay, if you have 1 or 2 late payments, we all have that reporting to our credit bureau. That happens to the best of us. But if you've consistently had out of your 36 payments, if you've got 24 of them reporting a month or 2 late, that's not helping you out at all. That's what's holding your score down. So you need to continue on with that good repayment history, knock off some of those late payments, and then your score is going to increase.
Exactly. Yeah. No, even like 5 or 6, like it adds up. Like you're like, why?
That was an exaggeration. But even like 5 or 6 of them, they're going to be like, well, clearly this is a pattern. Why are they always paying it late?
Cool. So that's number 1, repayment history. Number 2, I know we've probably talked about it before, but the balance versus their limit. So if someone
like the most important thing.
Like right now, that's, I feel like what affects the score the most. Like other than the repayment, that's definitely a huge, huge part. And I think also people need to know your score is a reflection of this month's limit, like the balance versus the limit on credit cards and lines of credit, like anything that can fluctuate. That's so important right now, because we'll see people that are over the limit, which that will bring down your score like a lot.
Like quite a bit.
Quite a bit. Yeah. Like as soon as it's over, it's like, it's probably too low to even try with the bank this month. But if someone like puts it down, like if they'll bring it down like half, I like to say half because it's easy to remember. Generally it's under 75% of your limit is where you shouldn't go over that ever, if you want to keep your score up and all that stuff. But for if you do it, if you bring it down, like if you're really at the limit and your score's low and you bring it down, the next time it reports that the credit bureau updates, usually your score is going to be up like quite a bit.
Exactly.
It's like almost like a picture of like this month, this is where you're at. Like right now, that's how the scores seem to work. And I think a lot of people don't really realize that. So
I think a lot of people don't realize that too. And it's also not just like, you know, making a big payment on your credit card. Cause I feel like maybe some people they make a big payment on their credit card, but then they use that money again. They're still using the card throughout the month. So if you end up putting a big payment on, but you use those funds back, not really like you're still in the same position, you know what I mean? So you can say like, oh, I put $500 a month on my credit card every month. Well, if you're using 400 or 450, you should really just be putting 100 or 150 on it to get it paid down. So that way you're not back utilizing it again.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people sometimes, if there's the availability, they're going to use it again. So it's just a matter of like being ready to pay it down and keep it down. And also, I feel like when they're trying to pay a bunch of them down at the same time, that's hard to do. Like more concentrate on one at a time. bring it down, and then go to the next, like once it's down, keep it there, and then try to.
Yeah, because otherwise it kind of feels like a never ending circle. You know what I mean? You feel like you're constantly putting so much money on all your cards, but they're not really going anywhere. But that's because you're putting too much on them, and now you need to use them again. And so you're just bringing the balance back up to where it was.
Exactly. You're not like changing anything so that something changes. So yeah that's a good one. Okay. And then the last one for today. So we feel like people should put more saving, like save more money, concentrate on, I mean, obviously you can pay down debt first, or like, do those things.
Pick something that you need to tackle first. Which one is holding you back? Is it your savings, or is it your debt that's holding you back? If it's your debt, concentrate on that first and then work on your savings. But if it's, maybe making your payments on time and your utilization is fine, concentrate on saving money and making those payments on time instead.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. That's so true. And like one thing that people, if their credit isn't where it should be to purchase, having a big down payment sometimes can make that difference. It depends on the situation, but like having a bigger down payment or just having money set aside is always going to be helpful regardless. So you can either
no matter what, it's going to help you out.
Right. So we can always like tell you like, okay, perfect. Like if you have this amount, put it on a certain credit card. This is probably going to get your score out. Like it's just strategy, but just having some money saved up is definitely ahead of the game. Like, regardless.
Yeah, it's going to make a big difference if you like, say for example, like if somebody's got like, a credit score in the low 600s and maybe we can't proceed right away with the traditional lender because it's just a little bit too low and you're working on building it back up. But if you have $50,000 sitting in the bank, you can probably still purchase.
Yeah.
There's probably somebody out there who's going to take the file for you. You know what I mean? With reason, with conditions. Maybe they don't lend to the area that you're looking in. So that could be something that holds you back. But depending on, if you meet the lender requirements for, purchase price, location, everything else, and you've got a substantial amount to put down. And when we talk about substantial amount, we're not talking about 10 or 15%. We're talking about 20% or more.
Yeah.
Because I know 10 or 15 can be a lot depending on your purchase price.
Right.
But we need 20% or more for it to work.
Yeah. There's definitely a gap between like, if someone doesn't have great credit, if they want to purchase right away before like fixing everything or waiting for it to go up or all that stuff, that's the next step. But it's such a big gap between like 5% down and like A lenders and the B lenders that a lot of people fall in between, and then they kind of stay there because they don't know what to work on and all that stuff. So we see that a lot. Or they ask that question about like, oh, can I still buy if I have a big down payment? And it's like, yes, but it's like a huge, like a big
it's a really big amount that you need.
Yeah.
10 and $15,000, that's a lot of money, but that's not going to get you there.
Yeah. But at least it opens up options, like just having some savings regardless, like just having money set aside definitely helps if you're trying to buy regardless.
Yeah, exactly. Right? You can pay down debt with it. You can, keep it in your bank account. And then once you do get your credit score up, even if your past credit history isn't perfect, if we can show the bank that like, you have your own saved down payment, you have money on top of that as like a fallback in case anything happens, if you need to do roof repairs, whatever, arises when you're a homeowner, or if you lose your job, or if you get sick, something like that, especially with COVID right now, where people, are getting sick left, right, and center with that. They want to know that you have some sort of fallback to protect you if something happens.
And I mean, regardless, like having money set aside is just going to help with life, right? So,
yeah, exactly.
But
it's true. It's gonna alleviate a lot of your stress if you're able to keep a good cushion in your savings or your checking account. Because then you'll sit there and you'll be like, okay, well, you know what? I know I don't really need to worry about my rent or my mortgage payment this month because I have $5,000 sitting in my savings account, and if I really need to, I can pull it from there.
And if someone's like on the fence of like being approved or not, having your own down payment just makes that difference most of the time. So
exactly.
Rather than like versus having a gift down payment or borrowed. So cool. Yeah. So hopefully that was helpful.
Yeah, hopefully.
Awesome. See you next week.
Yeah, see you. Thank you.
Bye.